Not sure how long I'll be able to stand here. There might be mosquitoes. Where to start? I've been working on this class by Deans Wesley Smith and Kathryn Rusch called Killing a Critical Voice. It's about getting rid of the harsh voice that kind of attacks you when you're trying to create something and when you're trying to get it out into the world, when you're trying to live as a creative person. I probably should have taken this class a long time ago. I said something to Chris, and she said, "Oh, that sounds like critical voice. You should take the class." So the next time there was a sale, I was like, all right, sure, whatever. I clearly don't need this class. I'm fine. I've fought through these issues time and time again. I've always come out at least somewhat okay. But this class, it goes a lot deeper than I was willing to go on my. So I'm trying to deal with fallout, and it's really painful. It's really confusing, and the weirdest stuff interacts, and now I can kind of see it. I'm not done with the class by any stretch of the imagination. I think there's another 3-4 weeks left. I have a lot of work to do. But weird things come out, and I'm trying to just deal with them the way I normally deal with them. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough this time. I'm not sure what else I need to do. There's one thing that I'm kind of ruminating that I might differ with Kristine on, and it's Dean doesn't have a lot of the same hang-ups that I do. Like, it sounds like he's been through some similar shit, but has not. He's not the same kind of person. He doesn't deal with things the same way. So a lot of his bias, and I've noticed this over the years, is to separate himself from people and to step away from things. We had a conversation a long time ago about having been poets when we were younger, and he goes, I need you to know this. You need to write for idiots. And I said I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I can't write for idiots. I don't like idiots. I don't want to write for them. I don't want to spend time with them. They don't cut. Like, if they're always talking about how you want characters to step inside your house, and so you have to write characters who you can at least tolerate to have inside your living space, inside your head, for long enough to get through the story. But it kind of works the other way too, where you don't want readers that you don't want in your house. You're always going to get some kind of whack-doodles, but that's just kind of the risk of it. You don't want to aim your books at people you don't like. So I never really wrote for idiots. I just can't do it. I'm okay writing for a niche. I don't need to write for bestseller status, although definitely in commercial fiction writing. The thing here in this class, specific to this class, is I think Dean's answer to this is to not care what anybody else thinks, and to encourage other people to not care what anybody else thinks. And that might be a bridge too far right now. I care what other people think, and not just in it. Yes, I care about people. I'm a human being. I care about them. When I think someone thinks poorly of me, I don't do well. Or, no, I take that back. When I think someone whose opinion I value thinks poorly of me, I don't do well. There are people that I am proud to have think poorly of me. I'm ecstatic that they say bad things about me behind my back, and it gets back to me. That's not a deal. So I'm not sure how to sort all this stuff out if every time Dean's like, well, you just can't care about that. I'm like, that'd be nice if I could just switch that off, and I can't. So I need to find some other solution. And I'm on this walk today after several days of just being devastated. And it was over something dumb that really I should not have taken that way. Clearly it was a trigger, and it wasn't anything having to do with the current moment. So I've been trying to figure out what the heck that was all about. And yesterday I was out for a walk and just feeling awful and took a selfie and then just didn't think about it. And I got up this morning and I went to go catch up on posting all the pictures that I take as I walk around. And I try to take at least one selfie every day so that, I can practice seeing my own face and not hating it. And I looked at my face and I'm like, oh, this is awful. Just looking at this selfie makes me want to cry. And I did. I got up this morning and cried. And when I could calm down, I went, this is my waiting to get hit face. And it took me back to being a kid all over again. And it's not like my parents beat me on a regular basis, but they used the threat of it all the time. Oh, you're gonna get a spanking. Oh, I'm gonna hit you. There was a raised hand. Oh, you're pissing me off. And just that gesture. And any reaction that I had was, I'm still crying. Any reaction that I had was oppositional, rebellious, designed to piss them off, apparently. I was a kid. Even as a teenager, I had no power. I had no influence. I had no control. And so saying things that they said about me, particularly my mom, not just my mom, saying the things that they said to lash out at me wasn't about me being oppositional. I don't know that I really was. I was kind of just passive and shut down. But everything I did was wrong. And there were a couple of times that I broke down and I actually resisted, and that was worse. So I know I wasn't resistant all the time, because the times that I did resist, wow, I got a bigger reaction than I did not want. But at any rate, that was the face that I was walking around with, was I'm waiting to get hit. And I know that most of that is getting dragged to the surface because of this fucking class. Oh my God. It doesn't look like it should be this hard, but apparently I just have covered over a lot of shit with stabs and am not okay. I wish. Today I'm walking and taking pictures, and I took a couple of selfies, and they look uncomfortable, but it's more like I'm grieving the bad things that happened to me as a kid, which I've done before. Apparently I get to grieve again. But I don't look anything like yesterday. I should. I look like a person today. Hey, hi person, I can stand to look at myself. Yesterday I could not. I couldn't even stand to take pictures. I could not take pictures. Photographs are not anything I take seriously. They don't mean anything to me other than as a way to reach out to people, or to record what's happening around me, or just to appreciate the weird little moments of beauty in life, or even just to appreciate the elegant ugliness that I run into sometimes. It's Florida. You run into some elegant ugliness. And I always wish that I was braver about taking people's photographs. But it's also kind of a pain in the ass. hey, can I take your photograph? Let me have some social interaction that I can't deal with today. Yay. Anyway, yesterday I took like 4 pictures, including the selfie. And I normally take like 100, throw most of them out because they're not quite what I wanted. Keep like a dozen or so and post them on Instagram. I don't really think anything about it anymore. I just do it because that's part of my day. Yesterday, I could not take pictures. I was so self-conscious. I was so upset. I was so bitterly attacking myself. And it was the clearest example of that critical voice that I've ever been able to track down, I think. When I am stuck, I am trying to cover up the fact that I'm waiting to get hit. There are other things that I'm sure are slowing me down, but that seems to be the major one. I am waiting to get hit. When I don't do something, I'm waiting to get hit. I'm waiting to get punished. I'm waiting to get lashed out at. And the ridiculous thing is, I'm not going to get hit. If I'm an adult, I get to protect myself. I don't have to just wait and take it. Isn't that fucked up? Like, that's a major thing. I don't have to wait to get hit. I don't have to hang around. I don't have to be present for somebody else to work themselves up to hit me. I don't have to be defenseless because it'll be worse if I actually defend myself. I don't have to anticipate being hit. I don't have to think this person will hurt me. I don't have to think the people around me that I care and I trust about are secretly just going to one day have a mental breakdown and lash out at me. I don't have to do that. Even if they do, even if somebody that I care about does something mean to me, I know them. I know that this isn't their normal mode of operation. I know this isn't what's in their heart. I know that this is they're in a bad place. I know they're not my ex going, if I run the math right, I should be able to have fun hurting somebody today if I do X. You know, I'm not around that kind of person anymore. I've figured out at least a little bit of how to weed most of that type of person out. I'm not around my mom, and I'm not around people like my mom. I get it. I don't have to go, this person only wants to be around me when they're uncomfortable and they need somebody to pick on. I don't have to live like that anymore. And it's just weird. Like, I know that, and yet part of me, just refuses to believe it. It is so uncomfortable. Today has been so uncomfortable. Like, I don't need anybody to fix anything. I don't need anybody to change what they're doing. I don't need anybody to comfort me. I don't need anybody to be a support. I mean, it's nice. People do support me, and that's great. But I don't need that. What I need is to separate that awful voice and me. I need to, that fear of getting hit needs to be transformed into something else. I don't really know what that is yet. And it's not, I don't care. I don't care about people. I don't care what you think. I can't get there from here. Like, it might be merry. I might be like, happy skippy stabby. I'm going to kill you. Ha ha ha. I don't care what you think. But no, not really. I can't do it. I don't know that I want to do it. Maybe that's the problem. I don't want to see myself as being someone who doesn't care. I would maybe that's it. I would rather deal with the problems of being a person who cares when they shouldn't than deal with the problems of being a person who doesn't care when they should. And I kind of that's a black and white way to see it. That's not very subtle. There's there's got to be a complex line in between those two things that allows for some kind of navigation and areas of gray and shades of meaning and times when you do and times when you don't. But I'm still back in that black and white spot of if I don't bend over backwards to prove that I care about things, then people will know that I don't care about anything. And that's not true. I can care about things without sacrificing myself. There's a weird thought. I think so you run into that kind of phrasing a lot in the wider world. Like, if you don't care about X cause, then do you really care? Aren't you supposed to care about more than one thing? Aren't you supposed to care about all the things? And there's so many things you're supposed to care about, it just stacks on top of each other. And on a world level, I go, okay, I can abstractly care about X, Y, and Z, but what I personally care about, what helps me tie everything together and get stuff back in the line, is going, I want my soul back. I don't go, yes, I need to take care of nature. I go, I want my soul back. I don't go, racism is bad. I go, Jesus Christ, I want my soul back. My family sold my soul for this, and it sucks. Just like generations before me went, hey, let's be white, and we're very involved in being white. Like, I would not be surprised about anything that I ever heard about my grandfather on the one side. It just wouldn't. And I want my soul back. And I don't go, I need to be away from religion because it's a lie. I go, I want my soul back. I don't even know if I have a soul. I don't even know if that's a thing. It's just a shorthand for, I want my own personal sense of self and integrity. And I can think about that on a world level, an issue level, because I'm used to that. I'm used to getting dragged into various political arguments and having to navigate layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of bullshit, and reaching down to a central point, which is, I want my soul back. But I'm not used to doing that on a personal level or a creative level, and maybe that's what the connection is. I need to care about people. I don't need to go like Dean goes, I just don't care. I need to go, I want my soul back. And if I think about stories that I write, I go, sometimes I write stories that aren't true to myself. They don't have my soul in them. That's not the right phrasing. Do I write stories to get my soul back? Yes, absolutely. Does every story that I write give me my soul back? No. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But it seems like that's kind of a useful thought. I'm just not reacting to it very strongly yet. Or if at all. Like, there's a different phrasing there, or there's a slightly different nudge to it, I think, that I need to get to. Because I don't just write to get my soul back. I don't just write to care about other people. I create art because it's pretty. Like, I've learned that from taking pictures. I don't take pictures because there's anything deep or meaningful that I want to aim my camera at. Although sometimes there is. Sometimes it's mischievous, whatever. But essentially, I just go, I just like to look at that. I like to look at that. Here's me liking to look at that thing. And so I kind of just have to go, that's art. That I like to look at that is the essence of what I'm doing as a writer. I like to think about that. I like to write about that. It's not that it's deep. It's not that it's meaningful. It's just I like it. And that's all there is to it. And I'm not sure how to connect that up, but it feels like that's a useful train of thought. I'll probably explore it more But the opposite of that is definitely the critical voice. It's the I'm waiting to get hit voice. I am starting to separate my memories of other people being mean to me or critical of me or unkind to me or lashing out at me for their own sake, and separating that from the kid who's waiting to get hit. The kid who's waiting to get hit is the kid. That's the creative part of me. And a lot of that comes out in what I write. I write a lot about bullies and resisting bullies and systems of oppression, layers and layers of bullshit. I write about that. I know those things so well that they're my skill set, and I try to work on ways to overturn them rather than to use it against people. Although, of course, if you're going to market your books, you have to use bullshit against people sometimes. Not to lie to them, but to go like, these are words on a page. They will make you feel good. Like, why would words on a page make anybody feel good? Because I told you so. Well, that's bullshit. But it's useful bullshit. I feel like I need to wrap this up and tie everything together, and I'm not really sure that I'm in a place where I can do so. I need to figure out how to connect I Want My Soul Back, which is a big motivator in things I do on a wider scale. And I need to connect that back to things on a very small scale, on a very personal scale, so that I can feel it when I write. I want my soul back so I can express, so I can describe joyful things. I want my soul back so I can write about things that upset me. I don't know. I want my soul back. I want to kill this critical voice so that I can use my writing the way I use my photography as a measure of the day, a measure of what I'm thinking, a measure of what I like, what I don't like. I love throwing in little things from my day in stories, and like things other people say. I try to remember to quote them and give them credit in notes and stuff. But things people say, images that they share, people I encounter, people I talk to, thoughts, feelings, perspectives. I don't know. I got no wrap up. The mosquitoes are biting me. I think the mosquitoes are biting. Something is crawling on my back. And it's time to hang up and move on. There's somebody coming on a big fat bike, like huge wheels. This is a beach bike. All right, later. Okay, I guess this is part 2. I made some progress. I'm about halfway back to the park. Samo's favorite tree. Let's see, where is he at? He's back over that way. You can kind of see him. Not really. Anyway, I am sitting at a different park bench because this is where the next piece of the puzzle dropped in. I'm talking about how to disconnect the horrible things I say to myself to make me feel safe. That's a burrito fart car, honey. I feel like you heard me. Anyway, I'm trying to disconnect myself from the terrible things that I say and do to myself that used to keep me safe when I was younger. It sort of kept me safe when I was married. Not really, but there we go. The next section of the walk, I've been thinking, so I'm not, one of the other things that Dean talks about is when what you're making becomes important, you start chewing on yourself harder. he says it differently, but that's how I'm interpreting it, because that's what I can hear right now. When a story is important for any number of reasons, then your creative voice locks down, and you just start hearing all of the horrible things. Because when a story is important, it's not a creative thing you can't play. When it's important, play and importance are two separate things. It's not that a story can't be serious or that it must be playful as such. It's that you're no longer in daydream mode. You have to pay attention to the outside world, and the outside world often calls us to be very harsh to ourselves because we don't want to pay attention. Like writers, creative types, our brains wander a bit, and so it takes more than normal levels of criticism to keep us disciplined, I think. So I'm trying to figure out how to not say, oh, I don't care what anybody else thinks, I can just play, which is how Dean runs it, and find something I can connect to better. And for me, a lot of the things that I do because I want my integrity as a person back. And that's not very playful. You can't play with that. It helps you sort out other people's bullshit. It helps you go, does this long-winded explanation of why white people are superior help me get my integrity back? Does it help me recover my sense of self? It does not. Wow, shit. I think this is bullshit, right? And then also you go, like, somebody calling me out on racist bullshit. Does that help me get my integrity back? Yes. Okay, I'm going to suffer the fuck through it because it's my bullshit. It's not them bullshitting me. Or, maybe a little bit them, but mostly it's just me and it's my problem to deal with. That's what we're doing today. But that's not how you play. That's not how you get into daydreaming. And maybe that's all I need to know right now is part 2. Hey, maybe just get back to where your daydreamy kid self, who spacey, what else? Oh God, there's a thing that my mom called me, airhead. Go back to being your airhead self and like wandering around and looking at shiny rocks and picking up bugs and going, oh look, it'll crawl in my hand, and ouch, it will bite me, and blowing it off your skin and not squishing it. A childlike frame of reference, maybe. Daydreamy, childlike. I need to get my childlike self back. Maybe that's what I need to say. Okay, I gotta get up. Something's biting me. Yes, we can. Alright, tentative part 3. Why I have to record this video. I said traffic, I don't know, but apparently I did. Now or never. The phrase that floats up is, I will see this with dreamer's eyes. It sounds cheesy, I don't know. And that's just like a reaction trying to shut it down. To keep me defended from having to actually have a creative voice that I can trust. But there's I don't know how else to say it. There's a feeling, though, that I'm sure the feeling is right, but I don't know about the words. There's a mental state that I can slip into easiest when I have good music on and I'm walking and moving, and I get a sense of motion rather than emotion. Like I'm looking around and stuff looks kind of magic. That's what I'm looking for. I'm tired. It's hot and yucky out, and I'm bug bit, and I walked a bunch. But part the last, I hope. Maybe. I found words to say what I needed to say, not of the whole thing of but what I need today. An answer to Dean's, I just don't care what people think. And is it play? I ran it past a couple of things, like there was an anthology I didn't submit to that I had a story idea for, but I didn't write it because of the editor, and I didn't want to work with them because I knew they would make me miserable. Is it play? No, it is not play. I could not write that story. I have my friend Jamie that I work with often. I like writing stories because it's play. Sometimes I don't like her edits. Those aren't very play, but that's a whole separate issue. What else? I had another good example. Before I sat down. It was very clear until my ass got sat down. I'm like, I don't care anymore. But it seems like everything that I've mentally run through of late, I've gone, is it play? Do I want to take this class? Is it play? That class is play. It's going to be torturous. It's going to be terrible. Do I want to watch this movie? Is it play? Do I want to read this book? I've been struggling to read lately because I've lost a sense of freedom with books. And I figured out why it was, and it's because I feel like books helped keep me trapped in bad situations. They comforted me, but didn't free me. Although, admittedly, over the long term, books did free me in all kinds of ways. But I'm still struggling with going, is it safe to read books? I struggle less with like webcomics. I go, is it play? Yeah, it's play. No matter how dark and serious they get, I still have a sense of play. It's not like they need to be light and fluffy. Play is not fluffy. Play is play is like little girls with Barbie dolls. There's blood and guts everywhere. That's still play. That's still play to me. It doesn't have to be joyful. It can be dark. It can be serious. It can be awful. It can express things that you can't get out any other way. It can say things that just are like, I have to just get this out, and it's terrible. John Gardner, the guy who wrote Grendel, and he wrote a bunch of books on writing, and I can't remember which book this is from, but he says, I'm going to screw this up, so I'm paraphrasing. He says that you should remember whenever you write that the person on the other end might be thinking of killing themselves, and you can't write to make them worse. And I've thought about that for decades now, literally like 30 years, because I came across his work in late high school, and what I've come to the conclusion is, if you want to reach someone in a dark place, you have to go dark. You can't reach someone in a dark place from somewhere light and fluffy. They just won't trust it. You can play in the dark. You can play in the really super dark, and that it's not a problem. It says the things that need to be said. So, is it play? Yes. That I can get a gut check on. That I can feel it. If I go, I need to work on my brand image, I go, is it play? No. But if I go, oh, you know what? I don't like the colors on my website anymore. They're not pretty. then that's play. I can connect to that, even though it's kind of the same thing. Like, what is meaningful to me is not play. Plugging around with AI image generation, that's play to me. It's not serious. I can't use it for anything serious. The second it gets serious, I need an actual artist to deal with it, because I don't dare fuck around with it too much. Is it play? Yeah, I don't think that'll work for everybody, but it works for me.